A Mac-like desktop with preemptive multitasking on an original IBM PCXT with just 256K of RAM sounds impossible, but somehow it's real, and we'll get to that in a moment. Welcome to the Automated Daily Hacker News Edition, the podcast created by generative AI. I'm Trend Teller, and today is August 9th, 2026. Coming up, Fastmail adds a European data region, Shopify explains a major database shift in checkout, and one rooted Android phone makes a surprisingly capable home server. This episode is brought to you by SurveyMonkey. Don't just know what happened, know why. SurveyMonkey can help you unlock insights by combining feedback with operational data to get vital context. Find the link in the episode notes. First, a privacy and infrastructure story. Fastmail now lets customers choose an EU data region, with the primary copy of email and files stored on servers. It operates in Amsterdam instead of the US. That matters for people who care about data residency for legal, compliance, or personal privacy reasons. Just as important, Fastmail was very clear that this is not a magic border. Some backups, logs, and metadata can still cross regions. In a market where companies often oversimplify these claims, that level of honesty stands out. Another internet plumbing idea getting attention is a proposal to mark domains as for sale directly in DNS. The concept is simple. Publish a special TXT record so brokers and automated services can see that a domain is on the market without forcing the owner to park the site or replace the homepage. It fills a real gap. Domain availability is still surprisingly messy to verify, and a standard, machine-readable signal could make that process cleaner for buyers, sellers, and tooling alike. On the self-hosting side, one of today's more inventive posts comes from someone who replaced a small VPS with a rooted Android phone running services at home. Instead of trying to turn the phone into a pure Linux machine, the setup keeps Android in charge of the hardware and layers server tools on top. The interesting part is not just that it works, but that it recovers cleanly after reboots and is managed in a repeatable way. It's not a blueprint for critical production systems, but it is a strong reminder that modern phones are far more capable than we usually give them credit for. At the larger end of the scale, Shopify shared how it moved inventory reservations in checkout from Redis to MySQL. The reason was consistency. Keeping reservations and the inventory ledger in one transactional system makes it easier to avoid overselling during heavy demand. What makes this story useful is the lesson behind it. The team found that success depended not just on faster queries, but on careful handling of locks, deadlocks, and database connections. It's a classic example of engineering reality. The bottleneck you expect is not always the one that bites you. Two technical reads today were very different on the surface, but had a similar theme. One showed how pathfinding can get much faster with better heuristics, especially by using pre-computed landmark distances to guide the search more intelligently. The other explored dithered QR codes that preserve a recognizable image while staying scannable. In both cases, the appeal is the same. Smarter approximations can deliver a big improvement without changing the core system underneath. In platform and media news, John Gruber issued a full retraction after learning that his earlier criticism of an App Store rejection was based on a mistaken premise. The app in question had been misrepresented, and he says he was misled and takes responsibility for publishing the error. It's notable partly because public retractions of this kind are still fairly rare, and partly because it underlines a familiar problem in tech commentary. When the underlying facts are shaky, even a sharp argument can collapse quickly. And finally, two lighter stories. A project called OS8SAUS888 brings a graphical operating system to the IBM PSAUS XT, complete with a desktop interface and multitasking, all on hardware that most people would assume is far too limited for that sort of ambition. It's a fun retro computing achievement, but also a useful perspective check on how much can be done with tight constraints. And with the August 12 total solar eclipse now close, an interactive planning map is drawing attention to how narrow the viewing window will be in parts of Spain, where totality is short and the sun sits very low. If you're planning to watch, the exact spot you choose could make a big difference. Thanks to our sponsor, Consensus. Consensus uses AI to help you find and understand research papers, and you can get a free month. Find the link in the episode notes. That's it for today's roundup. I'm Trend Teller, and this was the Automated Daily Hacker News Edition for August 9th, 2026. Thanks for listening, and remember, links to all the stories we cover can be found in the episode notes.